All right, 5.6, radical expressions. Okay, first of all, what is a radical? We just talked about rational things here just not too long ago. Now we're talking about radical things. So a radical is a fancy way of saying some type of root, right? And that could be like a square root, or it could be a cube root, or it could be a fourth root. So notice the little number on it, right? It just keeps changing. Now, square root is just assumed always a 2. If it's anything but a square root, you're going to see a number on it right there. So that's what we mean by a radical. Radical expressions can have variables, right? It could be like the root of x cubed over the root of 2y, right? It can be like this if it wants to be. It can be in parentheses, all kinds of different things, right? So that's what a radical is. All right, let's talk about simplifying any radical. So let's say they gave us a radical of 72. So if you don't see a number on the front, it's a square root. But here's what you do: you break it down as much as you can. So I'm going to go like 8 and 9, and then 8 breaks down into 4 and 2. 4 breaks down into 2 and 2, and those are all prime numbers now. 9 breaks down to 3 and 3. Okay, so now we got all these. So since it is a square root, I'm just going to put a 2 there, even though we don't usually see it. We're looking for partners of 2. Well, there's a partner of 2 there. There's a partner of 2 there. Whatever partners up, that number gets to come outside. So then I would say this. So this is equal to, well, a 2 gets to come outside. Well, we had another partner group of a 3 right here. So a 3 also gets to come outside and join it. But when it joins it, it multiplies to it out there. Okay? And then you're going to look for anything that's at the end of a string, at the end of a limb, I guess, if you will, because it's like trees, that doesn't have a partner, like the 2. Well, no partner. It has to stay underneath the radical. So then we're going to rebuild the radical, and we're going to put the number that we see there. If there's multiple numbers, we're going to multiply them together. So then you end up with 6 root 2. 6 root 2. That would be the simplified of that radical. So check this out. What if we have a third root of 72? Okay, instead of a square root of 72. Well, do the same task. I'm still going to go 8 and 9. I'm still going to go 4 and 2. I'm still going to go 2 and 2. And I'm going to go 3 and 3. But now, since it is a cubed root, so the third root, then I'm going to look for partners of 3. So I'm going to need 3 in order to make it partner up and come on outside. So that works there. The 2's work, so that's nice. So then we're going to say, well, this equals a 2 on the outside. And then, unfortunately, there's only 2 3's. You need 3 of them to match up, right? It's got to match the number here, the 3. So there's not a triple match. So we're going to put the radical sign back together. So we're going to recreate the radical. So it's a cube root of, we're going to put this number back in. So that's 3 times 3 again. So it's 9. That doesn't have a cube root. So there was a perfect cube root in it, and then there was non-perfect in it. But this is my final answer. All right. So then if I wanted to go one more, what if they gave me the fourth root of 72? Well, we'd still do the same thing. 8 and 9, we're going to go 4 and 2, we're going to go 2 and 2, and here we're going to go 3 and 3. So in order to get 4, I need to find groups of 4. Do I find a group of 4? Nope. There's a group of 2. Got to stay group of 2. Or sorry, a group of 3 and a group of 2. They both have to stay because there's not a true group of 4. Nothing gets to come out. Therefore, that's the best we can do, is really keep it at 4 through to 72. So that's what it looks like right there. What if we are doing, like let's say the square root of x to the 7th power? So when we start thinking variables, here's how I want you to think about that. X to the 7th power means x, 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 x. 7 x's literally in there. So start finding groups of 2. Group of 2, group of 2, group of 2, and there's a lonely x by itself. So since a group of 2, so this x gets to come outside. This x gets to come outside and join it. This x gets to come outside and join it. This one stays underneath, right? But what is this really? x cubed root x. So we treat it the exact same way. If it was cube root, we'd be looking for 3x's. If it was fourth root, we'd be looking for 4x's, and so on and so forth. Right, so that's what that looks like right there. All right, let's get to it. Let's do some of these. All right, cube root of 8. Ready? Here we go. 8 goes to 4 and 2, 4 goes to 2 and 2. There's a group of 2's. Wow, it's only a group of 2's. So what gets to come outside? Whoops. Is a 2 gets to come outside. Now let's see, x cubed, x times x times x. I need a group of 3. It is a perfect group of 3, so an x comes out. And guess what we have left under? Nothing. We've literally exhausted everything that was underneath. So our final answer here is 2x. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Now treat this on the top and on the bottom. So here's what I actually like to do is rewrite this as the fourth root of 32 over the fourth root of x to the fourth. Okay, so now 32, let's try it. Here we go. 32, I'm thinking 8 and 4, and then 8, I'm thinking 4 and 2, and then I'm thinking 2 and 2, and then I got 2 and 2. What are we looking for? A group of 3's. Oh, the 2 comes out, so we get a 2 on the top. There's a group, but it says fourth root. My bad. Let me challenge that real quick. So here's what I need. I need groups of 4. I'm going to have to steal one from that group up there. All right, so there's all those 2's. So a 2 comes out, but then this 2 is all by its lonesome, right? So it will stay underneath. So we got the fourth root of 2 underneath. Divided by x to the fourth. Well, that's x, 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 x. I need a group of 4 in order to free it. Nope, so it looks like we're going to have an x on the bottom because it goes away. It's a perfectly perfect root. And that's it. And we got it. Okay, let's try this one here. Cube root. So let's also just redivide up. So that way you're thinking about the top by itself, and then you get to think about the bottom by itself. Okay, so it looks like this. So 125. 125 breaks into 25 and 5. 25 breaks into 5 and 5. X to the 6 is x, 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 x. Okay, do I see a group of 3 5's? I sure do. So I'm gonna write it down here. So we know a 5 comes out. A group of x's, so an x comes out. Another group of x's, so it's really gonna be an x squared out there because it's x times x. This is a perfect cube root on the top. Divided by cube root of 6, so we got 3 and 2. That's it. That's it. So that doesn't actually simplify at all. Cube root of 6, right there. Okay, so that's what it looks like right there. We don't typically want to leave a radical in the bottom of a fraction. So we do want to talk about getting that out of there too. So here's what we got to do. We got to do one more step. Let's go times. I need some kind of cube that's going to make this a perfect cube on the bottom. Well, what if I put 36 in here? Because that's really 6 times 6, and then this is B6. So if I had 6, 6, and 6, when I cube root it, it's going to be a perfect 6. Right? Isn't that a nice thing? So let's do that. But whatever you do to the bottom, we also have to do to the top. So then this becomes 5x squared cube root of 36. And we know that's not a perfect cube, right? Nothing's going to come out of that. On the bottom, cube root of 6 times 36. If you want to know that, that's 216. So then it becomes the cube root of 216. The cube root of 216 is a perfect cube of 6. We did that on purpose to make it match. So there it is right there. So at least get to this part right here, and we will go more extensive on to getting this part in class again later, okay? So at least get me here. I want you to be able to do that. All right, let's talk about square root of 50. I'm going to actually just rewrite it here so I have more room. Square root of 50x cubed. Let's go 50 of 25 and 2, 5 and 5. Are we looking for square roots? Yep. So I just need partners, like a single pair. So 5 and 5. 2 is all by itself. It's got to stay underneath. X cubed is x times x times x. So I need pairs because we're talking square root. So it looks like I'm going to have a pair of x's, and then that x is going to have to stay by itself. So let's do this. Let's bring the 5 out. bring an x out, right? That gets me those. And then 2 and x got to stay underneath that square root 2x. That's kind of how that thing works right there. And we'd be golden. Okay, so we could go on and on and on and on with this thing, but just know this is what we're going to be doing over and over again. Now, when it gets into fractions, again, we're going to have to take another step on this. So here's what it gets a little crazy here, because what I'm going to do first here is notice that the first one is a fourth root. Since that's a fourth root and that's a cube root, we can't just straight up multiply those together. They're different roots. So let's simplify, right? 8, the fourth root of 8x, so that's 8. It looks like this. I'm just breaking it into 2 groups. Okay, one group of x is going to come out, another x is going to come out. So this is just going to be x squared times this one is going to be x, 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 x. So we do know an x comes out, but then this one stays underneath. So a cube root of an x hanging out underneath, right? So then anything that's outside of roots can get multiplied together. So x cubed, remember, because we just add exponents, we're doing that. And cube root of x. X cubed on the outside, cube root of x on the inside. There we go. Looks like that. Right? Let's do one more, so just so I can show you that fraction thing again, and then we'll go more extensively into class with this. But this one is cube root of x fifth on the top, cube root of 4 on the bottom. All right, so let's talk about the top first. We got x, 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 x. We need groups of 3 to pull it out. So we're going to get x on the outside, cube root of, these cats got to stay underneath, x squared, over 4, we can go 2 and 2. That's it. It doesn't actually come out to a perfect cube. So cube root of 4. All right, how do we get rid of this? We can't leave a root on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply by, all right, so 4 is already 2 and 2. So to make it a perfect cube, I need another 2. So I'm going to do cube root of 2 over here, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Whatever you do top and bottom, you do it together. Now, multiply the tops together. Well, the nice thing is if this is the cube root and this is the cube root, you can multiply them together and keep what's underneath together. So what I mean by that is there's an x on the outside, so the x stays on the outside. Since everything else is under the cube root, 2 times x squared is just going to give me 2x squared. Over, here we go. If you wanted this, same thing works, right? Since this is a cube root, this is a cube root, you can multiply them together. You're going to get cube root of 8. Guess what the cube root of 8 is? 2. It's just a straight 2. So that's what that ends up looking like. But notice at the end of the day, the bottom of my fraction does not have a radical in it. Okay, so that's simplifying any radical. Thinking about what is the root, that's how many you need in a group to extract it. Okay, let's talk about changing exponents to radicals and back to exponents. So here's what we got here. When you see fractional exponents, 1/2. 1/2 really means square root, right? If I said x to the 1/3, it really means cube root. So it's telling you the root. So the bottom tells you the root. The top tells you the power. Okay, so again, so root on bottom, power on top. Okay, so if I said x to the 1/5, you would say, well, that must be the 5th root of x. But check this out then. What if I said x to the 2/3? Okay, power on top, root on bottom. Okay, power on top, root on bottom. So I'm going to go cube root of x squared, x to the 2nd power. Or you could write it as cube root of x squared. It doesn't matter which way you write it, right? They're going to give you the same result. Typically, we write it like this, right? The power underneath. All right, so here we go. Write each expression in radical form and simplify. Okay, what do we got? We got power on top, tells us the root on bottom. That's only if it's a fraction, right? So here we go. So we're going to go 36 cubed all under the square root, right? And then from there, we could just simplify it, right? If we wanted to. First thing you'd want to do, though, is find what is 36 cubed. But 36 cubed, you know, is going to be this. It's going to be 36, 36, 36. And then we can go 6 and 6, 6 and 6, 6 and 6. And I can actually stop right here. We're going to pull a 6 out. We're going to pull another 6 out. We're going to pull another 6 out because it's a square root. So 6 out, 6 out, 6 out. And this is a perfect power root system, right? 6 to the third power is 216. That's what that would simplify down to, right? All from just getting to that idea. All right, let's try this one. Okay, root on the bottom, power on the top. Power, root. Okay, so what does this look like? It looks like this. The fifth root of 32 to the third power. And then we go on from there. Okay, let's try writing this one. Ready? Write this one. Power on top, root on bottom. Cube root of negative 27 to the first power. And then we could go and simplify that. Okay, this one, let's try this one. Cube root of 8 squared. Right, so that's what that looks like. How about we work this thing backwards? Ooh, what if they do it? Okay, power goes on top, root goes on bottom. Okay, so this is going to be 9 to the 10/5 power. But now reduce that. 9 squared. Hey, how cool is that, huh? 9 squared. And that would be 81 if we wanted to work that all into a number. All right, try this one. Now that's a square root. Power on top, square on bottom. 8, power on top, square on bottom. All right, let's try this one. Power on top, root on bottom. 5 to the 3, 6. Does that reduce down? You betcha. 5 to the 1/2. Right? Let's try this one. All right, ready? 27, power on top, root on bottom. 2/3 power. Right? Kind of cool how that works out that way. Okay, let's look at the last bit. Property of exponents. So what do we know about exponents? Remember, we used to do exponents. If the bases were the same, it tells me I get to add the exponents together. So in this case, if my bases are the same, we rewrite the base and we add the exponents. So that's going to be 4/2, so that's going to be 13 squared. And then we could simplify that if we want to. What if our bases are the same? Bases are the same, and I'm dividing. It says take the top, subtract the bottom. Right, so it's really rewriting the exponent, and you're going 4/3 minus 2/3. So if I did that, it's going to be 9 to the 2/3 power. Right, then we could do something with it. What if we do power to a power? Do you remember this one? You got a base, power to a power just literally means multiply the two powers together. So the answer on this one is going to be 64 to the 1/6 power. Multiply tops together, bottoms together to get us that. Okay, same thing. This has a power 1, this has a power 1. Each of these has to go power to a power, power to a power. So it's going to be 8 to the 1/3 power on top, 27 to the 1/3 power on bottom. And then if we need to convert to radicals, we would convert to radicals, right? So that's what it would do. All right, what does a negative exponent do? It says anything that's attached to a negative moves below the fraction bar. So it's on the top, so move it below. So now we're going to have 1. You could always have a placeholder, 25 to the positive 1/2. Once it moves, the exponent becomes positive. Okay, bases are the same. What are we doing to the exponents? Adding them. So 7 to the 1/4 plus a negative 3/4, that's going to be a negative 2/4. So 7 to the negative 1/2 power. Now, if it's a negative and it's on the top of the fraction, we're going to move it down. So it's going to become 1/7 to the 1/2 power. Right? See how that one works? Negative, so that's okay. All right, it's above a fraction, so let's move it down. So now I'm going to get 1/negative 125 to the 1/3 power. Once it moves, it changes back to a positive. Power to a power, because we got one base here, it's going to be 6 to the, pretend that's a fraction, tops together, bottoms together. 6/2 is also the same thing as cubed. right?